Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the Journeyman Sports Podcast. Today, been long awaited. We're getting back into the tier list. We're excited for this one today. Going to be going over the tight ends, and we scoured a lot of different sites for these lists, and this was the best one that we could find. We know some of these guys aren't in their most recent jersey, but we've gone through. We're pretty sure we've matched every face to a name. If we get one wrong, we apologize. We think we got all of them figured out. So we will start out
Are
with
we? You want to start go down, or do you want to start bad and go up?
um we could honestly just go left to right and then keep
Okay.
going that way.
Okay.
So we'll be all across the board here, but fill the
All
board
right.
up no matter what. And this first tight end we both think is, I don't know how to say his name.
Okwe
Uh,
Ibenam.
yes, that's exactly who that is. So he's a tight
Or
end number.
Alberto. Alberto. You can just call him Alberto.
Yeah.
That's what the announcers be
So
calling him.
yeah, we'll go with Albert O first. And where does he land for you, Cade?
Uh, I thought he had a lot of potential coming out of the draft a couple years ago. And he showed flashes, but honestly, I haven't seen a big enough sample size just with Noah Fant being in front of him for so long. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him just right in the average tier.
Alrighty. I can agree with that. And then next up we've got one of the players is definitely growing on me in the NFL with Evan Ingram. This could be this could,
Mm,
I'm not gonna let my Jaguars
yeah,
completely speak. I'm
because
gonna say he's good. I'm gonna say he's a solid good. You could stretch him to, I think by the end of the video, depending on where we rank some other people, he could end up in franchise. But I'd say he's really only had about a year or two of
can't give
good
him.
football.
I can't give him franchise right now because like we saw him have good seasons with the Giants. Obviously, this was a career year for him, but I'm just saying like we saw him have good years with the Giants, and then um, he kind of ended up fading with them and ended up like starting to have issues and things like that. So I think Evan Ingram's kind of a on and off player, and I guess I just have to see more like continued years of consistency before I like put him in that franchise tier. So yeah, I could agree with good.
Yeah, and I think by next season we could definitely see him in that franchise sort of level. But next up we got Zach Ertz, who only played in 10 games this year, but did have 47 catches for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. And this is kind of a tricky one for me. I don't know about you.
Um, I would say at this point in his career, obviously if we're giving Zach Ertz a entire career, overlook, he's
Franchise.
probably he's franchise, but I'm just saying now, like if we're just looking at him now, and this is what we're doing the tier list off of is
Just
them. I
current.
would put him in average just because when he's healthy, he's decent, but he's not the player that he was with the Eagles or
Yeah.
even in the first year with the Cardinals.
Yeah, and as he gets older and he's had a lot of knee problems, I think sooner than later those are really going to start to add up for him. And I mean, he's still a good player. I think he's more of a guy you would want as a number two now in his career, but I think, over a full season, I still think he could put up good numbers. But got Noah Fant next, who he had 50 catches for 486 yards and 4 touchdowns. And to me, this is another average. If I'm
Really,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know he's hyped up, he's got the speed and athleticism, but I don't know. To me, he's gotten all this hype his whole career, and to me, he's never exactly backed it up with
but look
numbers.
at look at the system though. Like if you look at Denver where he was, they were not a tight end heavy team until Russ got there. The year that they traded Noah Fant for Russ. That's why Dolchich had a lot of success with Russ this year.
Yeah.
Um, doing his thing because they become a lot more of a tight end heavy system. But Noah Fant wasn't there for that, and so I feel like he hasn't gotten his full. It's kind of like a Kyle Pitts situation. Like there's so much potential there, but he's not getting the chance to show that all the way off. The Seahawks, I think he had a pretty decent year this year, but
I don't. I
they're
mean,
also not a tight end heavy team. They were a lot more run heavy. They were a lot more, whatever. But I'll give you average if you really
here's
want to put
my
him there. But
biggest.
I think he has the potential to be good by the end of the
Oh,
list for sure.
definitely. I think he's got all the potential in the world. It's just I know we're talking about current, but when I was talking about that hype, his best year was with Denver in 2020, where he had 62 catches for 673 yards and 3 touchdowns. And while that's not bad by any means, I
It's
just
not
think,
what Evan Ingram did this season. I get you. Okay.
yeah, and I mean, I think
I, I,
he's
I
I
get
think
you.
he's going to be a good player though, especially with Seattle really starting their come up now. But Pat Fryermuth is next, and he had a pretty solid season, 63 catches, 732 and 2 touchdowns. What do you got on Fryermuth?
I'm gonna give him franchise. I just think they or no. I'm not gonna give him franchise. I'm gonna give him good. I'm gonna give him
Yeah,
good because I would put him at franchise just because of how young he is and how good he looks for how young he is, and the fact that this is only his second year in the league and he's already doing what he's doing is crazy. But I think he's good with the potential to be franchise at some point because right now, obviously, we don't really know what the Steelers look like in the future
especially
or
at quarterback.
how they're gonna build this thing up around Kenny Pickett or whoever they have. So I guess I just have to see more on the Steelers end and see what they do to kind of build around and see if Freiermuth becomes if see if Freiermuth is still a big part of that plan or not to be able to put him in franchise tier. But he's good for now.
Yeah, and I echo all of that. So got Gerald Everett of the Chargers next, 58 catches, 555 yards, and 4 touchdowns. To me, I think the numbers are good, but I still think he's just average. I think this is about the peak of what you're gonna get if you have Gerald Everett on your team. So I would say he's an average. What do you think?
I wish there was like a below average tier. He's an average to below average tight end to me. I mean, he's so on and off. Like I get that he's seen
Exactly.
as I don't know. He's boom or bust. So
Yeah.
it's whatever. But yeah, average is good.
And got Mike Gesicki next, who is
Man, I'm putting Gesicki in franchise.
franchise.
To me, he's a franchise tight end.
Ooh, hold on.
You don't think so,
I just wanna check his stats real quick. That's all. Mike, I don't even know how you spell his last name.
bro? I mean, he's been a key part of that offense since before. I think he came before Tua, didn't he?
Yeah, but
He's been there a while and he's been doing his thing for a while too.
let's see. He's been there since 2018. I
Don't
mean,
hold his
this
gritty against him, Garrett.
nah, I'm not. Believe me, he would be off the list if that were the case. But nah, this year he only had 32 catches for 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. And I know part of that is obviously Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, and then they had a sort of revolving door at quarterback.
Okay, okay.
I would give him good. I don't know about franchise. Because to me, like as we'll get into later in the video, like I think if you were to
Bro,
stack
I
him up
don't know.
against like
That one's hard just because like Gesicki's been around for so long and been doing his thing for so long. And I understand we're going off this year, but it's like
yeah,
with
I
him,
mean,
it's kind of different because it's not really his fault that his role got reduced. I
yeah,
don't know.
I'd
I
put
don't
him in
know.
good for now and then we can come back to it at the end. But this is where I would say we start to get into some higher sort of players. Dallas Goddard to me, I mean, 55 catches, 702 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he
And he's young.
unfortunately, and he's young. I think he's a franchise player to me. I don't know about you. What do you think? This is a tough one because I feel like he's right in between good and franchise. Like he's just right.
I think he's still hanging in good, bro. I
Yeah,
think he's still because
I
I
could
see
get down
other
with
guys
that.
that I would put in franchise that I'm not putting Dallas Goddard with them.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
makes sense.
and I think Higby goes in good too. Like because no, Higby's really average, bro.
Yeah, I mean he had 72 catches, 620 yards, and 3 touchdowns, so not bad by any means. But I feel like if
Nah,
you're
he
just looking
okay.
at,
Nah. I mean,
I'd still put
yeah,
him
but
in
he doesn't help his
average.
team win.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's average.
I'd
He's
say
average.
average for sure. And then this, I think, is our highest
Yeah,
rated player so far. This got to be
yeah.
franchise.
He's franchise. Yeah.
TJ Hawkins socks. I mean,
TJ Hawkinson's he kind of speaks for himself, bro. He's a goon.
yeah, and I mean, he only ended up
Uh,
playing in 10 games this year, but whenever he played, his impact was felt. And I mean, he was doing his thing in Detroit for a really long time with no quarterback.
yeah,
Like,
with Jared Goff, yeah.
and no diss on Jared Goff, but
No,
especially
just on
before
Jared
that.
Goff because I know he had a good season this year, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that's easy franchise. And this is a challenging one to me with Hunter Henry. He had 41 catches, 509 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I feel like he's worked his way back down to average, honestly. I feel like when he came to New England, he was good, but I feel like his
Yeah,
value
like
just
first year in New England,
down.
end of the time that he was with the Chargers, but like
I feel like his
I
value
don't
has
know.
just slowly gone down.
Average and good, like, bro. We might just have to wait on Hunter Henry. You might just leave him there for now.
We'll come back.
'Cause
Hayden
I really don't know.
Hurst. Yeah, Hayden Hurst is next, and I think this is a underrated player here with the Bengals.
He's very underrated.
It's 52 catches, 414 yards, and 2 touchdowns in a system where he's the 4th option. I'm gonna give Hayden Hurst average. I think he could work his way into good, but I think average is a pretty safe spot for him. Irv Smith is another. It's just interesting, especially with Hawkinson. I want to say I'm gonna change this bad to below average because I feel like bad is just like it's so derogatory. I don't know. I feel like below average is a good spot for him.
Yeah, it's a good.
Because like he's not. None of these guys are bad by any means.
Yeah.
I feel like we can put
Yeah.
Albert O into below average as well, just for now. I don't really.
For now. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see if he moves back up by the end, but
Travis Kelce's GOAT. We don't have to talk about it.
He's gonna occupy that space by himself. I think. If
Kittle's franchise.
Yeah, if anyone's gonna get at us in the comments for anything, it's not gonna be for putting Kelce in the GOAT. So yeah, Kittle franchise. Yeah. I love him. He's awesome player, awesome dude, and I think
he's just banged up too much.
Yeah, he always gets banged up, and I mean that's kind of the way that 49ers
the best ability in the NFL is availability. If you don't have it, you can't play. If you can't play, you can't produce.
And George Kittle is, I would say, the second best tight end when he's healthy.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good spot for him. I still just don't think.
I don't know, man.
Dawson Knox is tough. 48 catches, 517, and 6 touchdowns.
You skip Cole Kmet.
Oh, shoot. My bad.
No, you're good.
I don't even. Let's see.
Cole Kmet is below average.
Yeah, I think that one's. Yeah. Dawson Knox to me
he's young. He's young. I don't want to hate on the guy. He's young, bro. I really like Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet has high upside. He just doesn't have the team around him right now on the Bears to do anything. So
and I think him and Justin Fields could build something special, or if the Bears decide to go a different way for some reason, who knows? But Dawson Knox to me, I'm gonna put him in. I would say he's in the good. What about you?
He's one of those guys that's on the fringe of good and franchise for me.
Yeah. I'd say we'll put him in good for now, and that's another one we can kind of come back to. Logan Thomas, that's just a below average. I mean, he's been okay.
Mark Andrews is franchise.
Yeah, that one's another easy one. Really, when you get franchise and go, I mean, it's pretty easy, but it's really the good average and below average.
Well, Mark Andrews, bro, I mean, he's the best receiving weapon that the Ravens have.
Hey,
so.
I love Mark Andrews, too. He's got diabetes just like me, so shout out Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Or diabesties, if you know what I'm saying. So, David Njoku is an interesting one. Maybe the most athletic tight end in all of the league. And I think this is another tough one to me between average and good.
I'm gonna give him franchise, bro. Franchise? I would give David Njoku franchise because, bro, like I don't know if you
Ooh,
saw like what I saw this season,
I
but
watched him,
he
but
made some crazy catches, bro. Like some crazy catches, and like the thing about when he's been with the Browns, like they've never really given him a chance to be a like full-time receiver. So when they let him do that this year, he balled, bro.
yeah, I mean, he had good numbers. Franchises.
He balled, bro. He really balled.
Man, that's just tough because
Okay, we can go good. I'll give you good, but like, bro, he's gonna be franchised soon.
I definitely think he has the potential to be. It's just like I don't know. Because here's my
He's
thing.
still young too. He's like 25, 26. And
Yeah,
I've been a day one David Njoku fan.
yeah, definitely. And I think he's got potential to be a franchise tight end too. It's just like for me, when I'm looking at this, I just don't think right now I could put him in the same conversation as Hawkinson, Kittle, and Andrews. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
yeah, no, that's true. That's true. That's
and
true.
it's really,
I got ahead of myself, but I'm just saying
I definitely think if we do this
he's gonna
again
be there
next
soon.
year, we could see him in that. But I feel like these four guys between Gasicki, really this whole good, all of these guys are right on the fringe of taking that next step to franchise. Like all these guys in good are right on that verge, and that's what makes it so hard is because like obviously we want to give respect to really the top four, just the top four, but there's a lot of these younger guys that are really gunning for those top spots, and Kyle Pitts is among that list. I don't really
Kyle
know.
Pitts, man, I'm gonna put him in average for right now.
Yeah, I think,
He's not, bro. Like I want him to be as much as everyone else, but the Falcons, like numbers are numbers, stats are stats, plays are plays, bro. Like
and he's only played 10 games this year too.
and
That's
and also the Falcons are just not giving him the ball when he's on the field, and he's also just not really getting open. So it's like I don't know. It's a mix of both, and they got to figure that out because he's a top four pick, but
he has the potential
um,
to be one of
he
the best.
lives. He has potential to be the next Travis Kelce, the next Waller, the next Andrews, the next Kittle. But I'm just saying he's got to number one be on a team that actually schemes him into their system, and then
Yeah,
number two he's got to ball out in that system. So
yeah,
for right now he's average. He hasn't shown anything special in the league.
yeah, and Dalton Schultz to me is another guy that's right on the fringe. I think, especially if he plays with Dak Prescott, I think this is definitely a solid good for Dalton Schultz. He had 57 catches,
Dalton
500
Schultz is like
yards, and
the
five
most
touchdowns.
mid. And like he's if there was a mid tier between good and average, he'd be right there.
Yeah. So
Because
you
like
think good or average?
he's
He's right in the middle.
I think he's more good than he is average,
Yeah.
but like I don't know if there was a tier right between the two of them, that's what I would choose. Because Dalton
Yeah.
Schultz is just like the literal like epitome of mid to me.
Yeah. And
Um,
this next one with Robert Tunyon is a tough one as well. 53 catches, 470 yards, and two touchdowns. I would say he's pretty average, honestly.
he's
I mean,
average, yeah, he's
yeah, those
average.
are pretty middle of the road kind of
He just
stats.
has really big explosion plays. Like for tight ends, he has plays that are like what the hell.
Yeah,
But
he makes some crazy stuff happen. But next
to
up,
me,
this is a controversial one, I feel like, because he
this one
only
is
played in nine
really
games,
hard, bro. This
28
one is
catches,
really hard.
388, three touchdowns. So not great numbers.
But we know what he can do when he's on the field, bro. Like
I feel like he's in
we've
good,
seen Darren Waller can like destroy teams when he's on the field, bro.
but that's the only issue is he only
I'm
played half
gonna
the
beat
season.
I'm gonna beat the table for Waller to be a franchise. I'm not gonna lie. Just because I think
Man,
he's
that's
definitely
tough.
done enough to get that, bro. Like, come on.
He is, but I mean those numbers are. We have
Okay,
guys in average
but
with
when you
better
only play
numbers.
9 games, though, when you only play 9 games, you're not gonna have the same stats everyone else is gonna have.
But didn't we just say availability?
Okay. What did he get yardage wise, like touchdowns
This year,
wise? Like, yeah,
he had 28 catches for 388 and three touchdowns.
there's people in the good list that have damn near those numbers with a full season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Like
give you.
there's
I'll
guys,
give you
there's guys in the good
franchise.
list. You know what I'm saying? There's guys in the good list with 400
Yeah,
yards and like 3 touchdowns. He did that in 9 games, half the season, when guys are doing that in a full season. You feel me? I'm just
yeah,
saying,
he's
Darren
just
Waller's a
tough.
different animal when he's actually on the field.
Yeah, and that's
And
yeah.
he
I don't
he
know. That's
played
just
enough
tough one for
he
me.
did play enough and do enough to show that, even with the small sample size. So
Yeah, that's a tough one though, definitely. And
I
then
feel you. I feel you.
come back to Hunter Henry. I'd say he has to fall on the average. Like I don't know. I don't think he's.
Yeah, he's average right now.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yet again, I think if he gets a better quarterback, it's like a lot of these guys.
If he can stay
Pitts.
healthy, bro, he's another tight end that's had a lot of trouble staying
Yeah,
healthy.
and it's a lot of guys that have really kind of been bumped down a tier for us. Like um Gesicki, like Hunter Henry, Hayden Hurst, it's just to some extent, Noah Fant, like just with a little bit better quarterback play at points. No diss on those QBs, but a lot of these guys are really just a little bit better quarterback play away from going up a tier
Like
and really
T.J.
taking that next
Hawkinson,
step.
like I even though Kirk Cousins isn't much of a,
All
I
star.
wouldn't. Yeah, isn't even though he isn't much of a glamorous player or anything. I think T.J. Hawkinson. We'll see T.J. Hawkinson do a lot more now that he actually has like a consistent quarterback play. Or who knows? I know Kirk Cousins' contract is up once again, so
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
we'll
see what
see.
the Vikings do in regards to that. But
Which is weird because I haven't even heard his name in the quarterback carousel at all. But his contract is definitely up.
yeah. Um, so I guess real quick, we'll do what we've done with other tier lists that we've done together, predicting for next season who the biggest riser and the biggest faller loser will be. Who do you got for those two?
The biggest riser and the biggest faller. I'm gonna give biggest riser to. I'm gonna give it to Kyle Pitts because I think Kyle Pitts has, he's still so young, so much upside, and it's like I feel like the Falcons will definitely have to find a way to like figure it
Involved,
out with him,
yeah.
and
And he
yeah,
did it
yeah,
better
like
on the back half of the
they're
season too.
yeah, they're gonna figure it out. It's just taking them a little bit longer than they expected, but once they figure it out, I think Kyle Pitts could easily
Yeah,
ascend to franchise tier
I
with
agree.
ease. So, um, okay, and then my biggest faller, bro. I'm gonna say,
That's a tough one to pick. Do you want me to go ahead and do my riser?
I'm gonna say Evan Ingram, just
Biggest
because
faller?
he's the model of inconsistency to me
That's fair.
for tight ends, because he's
Yeah.
just so inconsistent. He has really good seasons and then he has horrible seasons.
Yeah.
So
That's fair. I can understand that. And that's obviously kind of the concern, especially as a Jags fan, is what Evan Ingram are we gonna get next year? I'm hoping we get similar to what it was this year, but
for your sake too, but like I'm just saying,
yeah.
if I had to choose just purely looking at it,
Yeah.
yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go with my biggest faller first. And I think the biggest faller to me is probably going to be Darren Waller. I don't think he'll fall too much. I think he'll just fall down to the good, but with just the pure, like, just question mark at quarterback for the Raiders, and then just the inconsistency of his health, I'm not sure. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope he stays in the franchise, but there's just a lot of question marks surrounding that team next year, and especially in that division as well. But for me, the biggest riser, I'm gonna say David Njoku. I think Deshaun Watson, like obviously
I
don't like him
that
as a
pick.
person, but I think Njoku, with Watson getting some more time under his belt, he's gonna get more time with the team, get more adjusted. I think we're gonna see Deshaun Watson play a lot better next year. And I think as a result of that, you're gonna see David Njoku start to really make his name and presence felt throughout the league. So I think he's gonna jump up to franchise next year.
I agree.
So yeah, that's been episode 31. This was a good
Yeah.
one to get back on the tier list. We know it's been a while. It's
It's
been
about time, man. About
yeah,
time.
And then next, we'll be moving on to defense for the tier list. So we're excited for that one. Going to try and do 3 or 4 of those as well. And then this is hopefully something that at the beginning and end of every season, we can keep reevaluating these and keep sort of updating our lists, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good to me.
So yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and
Yep.
we got the mock draft coming soon. That's the big
Mock
thing.
drafts is gonna be fun, man. I'm excited
Yeah.
for those.
Should be hopefully getting those out end of this, our first one at the end of this month, beginning of next month. So we're excited for that. That's kind of the next big sort of milestone marker for us, and we're excited. We hope you guys are too. And got anything else to add? Or
We have XFL content coming too. We're gonna be covering all that. We're gonna be talking about, I'm gonna be bringing up some stories. I'm gonna, Garrett's gonna try to familiarize himself. I've already
Yeah.
picked a team. I picked the St. Louis Battlehawks as my XFL team. So yeah,
What team is
I'm
Josh
rocking with
Gordon
them.
on? He's on the
He's the Sea Dragons.
yeah, I think that's probably gonna be the team that I like. But interesting note, speaking of the XFL, it's something I just saw on Twitter, which I'm hoping is still here. Oh yeah, Paxton Lynch is the only quarterback to ever be benched in the NFL, CFL, XFL, and USFL. So just interesting, kind of funny fact. Paxton Lynch was supposed to be
Lynch,
that
man.
guy.
Yeah, he
Supposed to
was
be that
a
dude.
first round pick.
But yeah, just we'll be having that coming up. I think the Sea Dragons,
Yeah,
that's what they're
I
called,
mean,
right?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean, at least on my side, I plan. Even if Garrett, might not have the time for it or things like that, or things come up, I definitely plan on getting as much or XFL content out as possible, just because I think it's a really interesting league. I was watching a lot of it yesterday. I even ended up calling Garrett, and I was like, these guys can play. Like this
Yeah.
is actually really fun to watch. Like it's actually like really cool to see players that I've seen play in the NFL like trying to come back and make a comeback and like trying to
Do their
get back in the
thing.
league or trying to find a roster spot somewhere, like just trying to do anything, bro. Like, and then guys that you've never even heard of before, like one is Ja'Cour Pearson, bro. Like I've never heard of Ja'Cour Pearson in my life until this weekend, and then I saw him flying all over the field and making all types of crazy catches and crazy plays and scoring touchdowns. And like all of a sudden you figure out this guy was just discovered at some XFL like
Camp or
talent
something.
lookout
Yeah.
camp. Yeah, it's like what the heck? I've never even heard of this guy. And then like there's just all different types of players that you hear like, oh, I remember this guy from college. I remember seeing this dude play in college and he may have never made it to the NFL. I wonder where he went. And then boom, he's in the XFL and like
Yeah.
things are happening. So I don't know. It's cool to see. It's a really fun league to watch. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm going to be bringing a lot of content to the channel with that. So hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully people will be interested in hearing about that. And yeah,
New space.
that's really
New
all I have
space
to
to get
say.
into.
Yep.
So
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
we got a lot of stuff coming up on the docket. We hope you guys are excited as we are. Thank you guys so much for watching. And it's been episode 31 of the Journeyman Sports Podcast, and we will see you guys next time.